Which is the NBA team that has faced the most heartbreaking defeats, only to rise stronger time after time? As a longtime NBA fan, I've watched countless games and highlight reels over the years. Some of my favorites are the top 10 clutch shots, epic comebacks, and most dramatic wins. But there's something I've noticed in all of them. The San Antonio Spurs are often on the wrong side of those moments. Whether it's a buzzer beater or a heartbreaking game winner, the Spurs have taken more gut-wrenching blows than any other team. Hard to watch if you are a Spurs fan. But what those highlight reels don't show you is what happened after those devastating losses. Time and time again, the Spurs have bounced back stronger after crushing defeats, and I don't think any team in NBA history has been more resilient. Let's start with one of the most famous buzzer beaters, Derek Fisher's 0.4 second dagger in the 2004 Western Conference semifinals. The Spurs and Lakers were tied 2 games apiece, and after a super clutch game from Tim Duncan, Derek Fisher made an even greater shot that gave the Lakers a 3-2 series lead. The Lakers eventually won Game 6 and eliminated the Spurs. It was a devastating loss for San Antonio. Any other team would have struggled to recover, but not the Spurs. They didn't sulk or complain. They went back to work. The very next year, in 2005, they came back stronger and hungrier than ever. Tim Duncan led the way, with Manu Ginobili playing the best basketball of his life, and the Spurs stormed through the playoffs. They met the defending champion Detroit Pistons in a brutal defensive battle for the NBA Finals. After going the distance to Game 7, the Spurs were champions once again, proving they could bounce back from any heartbreak. Next up is 2006. The Spurs were once again the favorites, looking to repeat as champions. They faced the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference semifinals, a series that went to 7 games. In Game 7, the Spurs mounted a huge 20-point comeback, and Manu Ginobili hit a clutch three-pointer to give them the lead. But then on the next possession, Dirk Nowitzki drew a foul while driving for a layup, completing a three-point play that sent the game to overtime. In OT, the Mavs were too much, and the Spurs were eliminated. We covered that game here, another devastating blow. As always, the Spurs refused to stay down. That offseason, they regrouped and reloaded. In 2007, they came back on a mission. Led by Duncan, Ginobili, and Tony Parker, they steamrolled their way through the playoffs, culminating in a dominant finals performance against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Spurs swept the Cavs in 4 games, with Parker winning Finals MVP. It was another title for San Antonio, and yet another example of their resilience. And now we get to the most famous one of all, the 2013 NBA Finals. The Spurs were seconds away from winning the title in Game 6 against the Miami Heat. Up by 6 with mere moments left, the championship trophy was being rolled out. Then, the unthinkable happened. LeBron James hit a 3 to cut the lead to 3. And on the next possession, Ray Allen hit the most clutch shot in NBA history to tie the game. The Heat went on to win in overtime and then won Game 7, snatching the title away from the Spurs. That loss was brutal. To come so close and lose it like that, it was a devastating collapse, a blow that could have easily broken any team. But not the Spurs. They took that loss and used it as fuel for the fire. The following season, the Spurs played with a vengeance. They returned to the finals in 2014, and once again their opponent was the Miami Heat, the same team that had crushed their dreams the year before. But this time, the Spurs didn't just beat the Heat, they dominated them. They played some of the most beautiful basketball the league had ever seen, moving the ball with precision and putting on a clinic in teamwork. San Antonio dismantled the Heat in just 5 games, winning by an average margin of 14 points per game. Kawhi Leonard, who had struggled the year before, was named Finals MVP, and the Spurs captured their 5th championship, giving us moments like this.
The Heat have gone cold. Ginobili on the finish! Flushes it with the left hand!
That victory was the ultimate comeback. To go from losing in such heartbreaking fashion to completely dominating the next season, it was a testament to the Spurs' resilience, their heart, and their refusal to give up. So what makes the San Antonio Spurs the most resilient team ever? It's not just the wins, it's how they responded to their losses. Time and time again, they faced crushing defeats, but they always came back stronger. Whether it was bouncing back from Derek Fisher's .04 shot, Dirk's three-point play, or Ray Allen's dagger, the Spurs always found a way to rise above adversity and emerge as champions. That's the mark of a true champion. What do you think? Do you agree that the Spurs are the most resilient team in NBA history? Or do you think another team deserves that title? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible NBA stories.